What's up, ladies and gents, Ghost here, and today I'm taking a look at the AK-12 and the SCAR-H from the Battlefield 4 Beta. Now, I am of course aware that the beta has now ended, but that isn't going to stop me from taking a look at these two weapons. I love using both of these in the beta. They were absolutely beastly, and although the AK-12 has actually recently seen a nerf for the full release of the game, I'm sure it's still going to be an amazing weapon. Now, both of these guns are great in their own right, but they're also vastly different. The first thing that separates them mainly is the damage models, the AK-12 having a max damage of 25 going all the way down to 17.6, whereas the SCAR-H has a max damage of 34 dropping down to a minimum of 25. Now, the AK-12 is a new weapon in the Battlefield series, but the SCAR-H goes back to Battlefield 3. There it was available for the Engineer class, and it seems to be fulfilling much the same role for the Assault class as it did back in BF4 for the Engineer. Characterized by its high damage model, 20 rounds in a magazine and high recoil but low rate of fire, it's great at taking out targets at a long distance but can be outgunned at closer ranges. Now, both of these weapons from the offset have quite a low rate of fire. Now, this is maybe nothing strange for the SCAR-H since it has such a high damage output. It would be insanely powerful if it were to have a high rate of fire. So it has 620 rounds per minute, but the AK-12 then again only has 680, so there isn't a huge difference there. However, if you switch the AK-12 to burst fire mode, you can actually up that rate of fire to 750. Now, back when the beta was available, and in the footage that you're seeing in the background, the burst fire mode actually allowed this weapon to fire at 1000 rounds per minute, which was obviously quite insane, and as such DICE have decided to nerf that down to 750. Now, the reload times for both these weapons are quite comparable. We've got 2 seconds for the AK-12 with one in the chamber and 2.9 seconds without, so you do get punished quite a lot there if you completely empty your magazine. 1.9 seconds for the SCAR-H with one in the chamber and 2.3 seconds without, so not quite as bad there. Now, the SCAR-H, however, does only have 20 rounds in a magazine, which is one of the major drawbacks of this weapon, and it's really necessary to counteract the high damage model that it has, but it does mean that you're going to be quite vulnerable in close range situations, especially coupled with the fact that this weapon only has 620 rounds per minute. In fact, if I were to say that this weapon had one weak point, it would definitely be close range encounters. The SCAR-H will deal a maximum of 34 damage up to 12 meters, meaning that you'll need 3 bullets in the body to drop somebody. The AK-12, however, deals 25 damage up to 10 meters, so it only takes 4 bullets, and with that higher rate of fire and the rounds in the magazine, you're effectively going to be able to drop more people at close range with one magazine from the AK-12 than you will be able to with the SCAR-H. However, it's at longer ranges where the SCAR-H really starts to pull ahead. If you get past 75 meters, the AK-12 is only doing 17.6 damage, which means that it's going to take you 6 bullets to drop somebody. But the SCAR-H is still doing 25 meters at that range, so it's only going to take 4 bullets. And at those kind of extreme ranges with an assault rifle, only having to hit somebody 4 times instead of 6 times is a big difference. So what the SCAR-H lacks in reliability at closer ranges, it certainly makes up for it at some of those longer ranges. Now, one other thing is that you're also going to have to battle against the high recoil of the SCAR-H. You're definitely going to have to burst fire the hell out of this thing. It has an upwards pull of 1.07, which is considerably higher than the pull of the AK-12, which comes in at 0.7. So really, the best way of using this weapon at medium to long ranges is tap firing, and the further your target is away from you, the more you have to tap fire. Back in BF3, you could take people out at pretty extreme ranges, but you were usually only shooting 1 to 2 bullets per burst. Now, normally at this point in the video, I would go off and do a recoil test, show you guys how the weapons are affected by moving the mouse and all that good stuff at different ranges, but since the beta has now come to an end and I don't have access to the weapons, I can't actually do that. But that's okay, because once the full game is released, I will definitely be taking a look at both of these weapons more in depth and each one of them by itself. So I hope you enjoyed this little look at these two weapons. I think the reason DICE actually decided to put these two assault rifles specifically in the beta is that, first of all, one of them is an old weapon that a lot of us are familiar with from Battlefield 3, but also because they are so vastly different. The AK-12 is a great sort of all-rounder assault rifle, and it did turn out that it was a little bit overpowered, and therefore they had to give it that nerf to the burst fire mode. The SCAR 8 is just so powerful at long range, and it's more of a niche assault rifle really when compared to the AK-12. So I'm really looking forward to getting my hands on all of the assault rifles, and not only that, but all the weapons and gadgets in the full game when it's released, and seeing how things compare to the AK-12. Everybody is thinking that it's super easy to control, it has super low recoil, but then again, it's only an assault rifle with 680 rounds per minute, and if Battlefield 3 is anything to go by, then we're going to be seeing assault rifles with 800, 900, or even 1,000 rounds per minute in the Battlefield 4 game. So I'm looking forward to that, seeing how other assault rifles compare to these two. And it's also going to be interesting to see how all the weapons that we haven't gotten to try out are going to be in the Battlefield 4 full game. Because, I mean, think about it. They gave us a handful of guns. I mean, not many. We got 2 for each class of weaponry and a few gadgets to play around with. And they had to drastically balance many of these weapons and gadgets after the beta. Now, think about all those gadgets and weapons that we haven't even gotten to try out yet. What's going to happen in the full game? Are we going to see some of the weapons and some of the gadgets become the top dog and have to be nerfed later on? It wouldn't surprise me at all. As always, guys, let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.